Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got some big news today, and it's all about the Nintendo Switch 2 and its pre-order situation. Finally, some clarity for those of us living in the United States and Canada. Diving into the situation with the Nintendo Switch 2 launch has been kinda nuts, and I'm here to break it all down for you. Stick with me. Let's talk about how tariffs are affecting the Switch 2 and what that means for all of us looking forward to its June release. But first, before we get into the details, a quick shout out to all of you who've been following the updates and leaving your thoughts in the comments. You guys are the best. So let's break it down. The big news is that the Nintendo Switch 2 is still set for a June launch. And honestly, with all the tariff threats going around, that's been a tough window to work with. But it looks like Nintendo just got a little bit of a break. Here's where it gets interesting. The US president recently announced a 90-day suspension on tariffs. That's a big deal, especially since it doesn't include China. But still, it's a big win for Nintendo. This temporary suspension clears the runway for Nintendo to roll out the Switch 2 without the concern of extra costs coming from Vietnam, where they moved much of the production. Now, you may be wondering why this matters so much. Well, Vietnam was facing some serious tariffs, which could have affected the pricing of the Switch 2. But with this suspension in place, Nintendo doesn't have to worry about those extra costs for at least 90 days. So, for the time being, we're good to go. And funny enough, we've seen companies like Apple use some crazy methods to dodge tariffs, like flying in iPhones, just to avoid extra costs. People even wondered why Nintendo didn't do the same. But it turns out that the tariff landscape can be a lot more complicated than just flying products around the world to avoid taxes. At least for now, we don't have to worry about that. But of course, this is just a temporary win. We're all hoping that the next 90 days gives Nintendo and other companies the time. They need to work out tariff issues so we don't see any price spikes after launch. Now, here's the big question we've all been waiting for. When will pre-orders go live? And I know a lot of you were hoping that the tariff suspension would immediately mean pre-order announcements, but nope, we're still in the dark on that front. But don't worry, I've got a theory on when it could happen. My bet, April 17th. Why that date? Well, that's the date of the Mario Kart World Direct. Nintendo's gonna be showing off some cool new features of Mario Kart World, and it's the perfect time to drop the pre-order details for the Switch. Picture this, at the end of that Direct. They say, hey, pre-orders for the Switch 2 are now open. It'd be the perfect follow-up to the hype around the console. I know some of you have already tried to get your hands on pre-orders through Amazon UK, but you know how that goes. Things get messy, and not everyone can get in on the action. So I think we're looking at the US launch date for pre-orders. Plus, this gives Nintendo a chance to sell bundles with Mario Kart World, which could be a great deal for many of us who are eager to get the full package. But what about stock? That's another thing we need to talk about. The last thing we want is a repeat of previous console launches, where stock runs out and people are scrambling to find a system. My advice to Nintendo, play it safe and have plenty of stock ready for the US market. We don't want to see shortages just when the holidays roll around. So it's better to have too much stock than not enough. Now, this whole situation with tariffs and pre-orders, it's a good reminder of how unpredictable the world can be. We can't control everything. Just look at how crazy news cycles can get, right? But here's a life lesson for you. Don't get too bogged down by things you can't control. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches and focus on what you can actually impact. So let's focus on what we can control, getting our pre-orders in, enjoying the excitement, and making sure we're ready to enjoy the Switch 2 when it drops. The big takeaway? Things are looking good for the Switch 2, and the future is a bit clearer now that the tariff issue is temporarily resolved. That's it for today's update. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at now, but I want to hear from you. When do you think pre-orders will finally go live? Do you think April 17th is the day? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and share. And of course, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I've got a feeling there's more news on the way, but for now, I'll catch you guys next time.